Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Chaos Gym video. It's me, Rahul again. I know I haven't put out too much content in the past week and a half or so just because nothing has happened. I understand the format's super stale. Everything that has to be discussed has been mostly discussed by everyone on the internet. Other YouTubers have covered almost every cool, awesome deck to come out recently. Other article sites have covered almost everything else that needs to be covered. So I've just been kind of sitting on the back foot a little bit while I wait for the conclusion of Athens so we can start preparing for Sun and Moon. When Sun and Moon drops, there's probably going to be a lot of fun stuff that I want to try out, a lot of cool decks. I'm more than likely going to Anaheim Regionals, so I need to plan that out and start testing for that. But this video is for Athens. For all of you leaving for Athens either tonight, tomorrow, whatever, I should be seeing you there unless some weird circumstance occurs where I get like hit by a bus or something. I don't know. Um, I don't live too far, like 6.5, 7 hours, so the drive's pretty easy for us. Um, should be getting in tomorrow around 3, 4 p.m., staying at the Holiday Inn, one of the host hotels. So that should be pretty fun. But this video is about the metagame and what to expect. Dallas was pretty whack. Four Gardevoirs in top eight, two Greninjas, a Mewtwo that made it all the way to finals, beating a Gardevoir. It's pretty wild actually. It was a wild tournament, but the reason that happened was, as most people said, Evital just didn't see enough play, so that's why I didn't see enough placements in the top 32 by named players. What's going to happen for this tournament, I think, is the big three that we all originally anticipated, Yveltal, Greninja, Volcanion, shifts a little bit. Volcanion drops down to number 4, and Mega Guardy takes one of the top 3 spots. Not only because the deck is incredibly easy to pilot, and it sets up pretty consistently almost all the time, but because the deck is like coming fresh off of a win, 4 out of 8 spots, all the lists are online, people will copy this. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. Um, so those are the top 3 decks to worry about. A couple of decks that have been getting a lot of hype recently, I'll touch on those briefly, is the Chocolate Chip Pancakes, the Speed Darkrai deck that was originated by Finnegan Lynch in his Counter Tap article, with like 3 Yveltal X Oblivion Wing one and like 4 Darkhead Darkrai, where you just kind of keep like powering up your entire field with energies, and then eventually you're two-shotting things at the beginning of the game, and by the time you hit like turn 3, turn like maybe 4 or 5, you're one-shotting everything just because you have so many energies spread out across your entire board that you've got like two energies on each Darkrai, and then you're just like, okay, I'm gonna hit you for like 110. Oh, I'm gonna hit you for 130, and Darkrai's really fat, so it's really hard to one-shot on the return. And they take out a Darkrai, and you don't have energies, for example, you just go into the O-Wing, and you just sit there O-Winging for a couple of turns, set up your board, go back in. It's like playing the Xerneas Break deck, but working out of your discard. So the later in the game you get, the more powerful Oblivion Wing gets. The deck is a cool concept. Azul and Brad both took it to a win at Elite Cup, but the deck has a fatal flaw, which I think is Volcanion and Greninja are 2 of its worst matchups, and I would not take a loss to either of those decks going into this coming tournament. Um, I think Evital is more of a deck that you'd be more fine taking a loss to in this current state of the metagame, as opposed to those 2, because I think there's more potential for people who are playing Evital before to switch back to their comfort decks, like Volcanion or Greninja, because they know how strong their comfort picks are now, and Evital just isn't that good anymore. It is still good, but right now like the metagame is overly teched for it for Evital. Like even if we do it consciously or not, almost all of our deck lists have some sort of a tech for Evital. Flare grunts, enhanced hammers, max potions, something or another in some capacity. Delinquent. We're teched for Evital, and it'll still take games off us. That's the scariest part about the deck. But it's not as prevalent as it should be, so we don't give it as much notice. Another deck that's been floating under the radar that everyone has been going crazy about is Gyarados. Jose Morero brought back Gyarados and took it to a top 64 finish over in Dallas, and in the same weekend at the Dutch Open, another person, I forget his name off the top of my head, I apologize, took a top 4 at the Dutch special event with Gyarados, but he played like Lucky Helmets and all this whack stuff in the deck. It was weird. The list was wild. Um, the Lucky Helmet basically is you put double Lucky Helmet on your Gyarados, they knock it out. You draw 4 cards after getting end to like 1. The deck played a hybrid of like Shaman Octillery, so you get roaring out the gate with Shaman, and then you have Octillery to back yourself up at the end of the game. I don't know how I feel about the Shamans. The list obviously works, but who knows? Gyarados is getting a lot of hype going into Athens because Giratina has dropped off predominantly. Giratina was its worst matchup. They say Chaos Wheel about one time, and you go Lysander, please don't have a way to switch, or I lose this game. And they go switch, and then you go, okay, let me Lysander again, and then they go Chaos Wheel again, and then you lose. And that's the game. Because you can never, ever, ever, ever get your DC back down. And because enhanced hammers have been going up, etc., Gyarados gets kind of worse. But the deck is inherently, once you get all the puzzle pieces that you need, you're just kind of like, okay, I have piece 1, piece 2 in my hand, I need 2 more pieces. Okay, let me teammates for those 2 more pieces and get a one shot every turn. It's incredibly hard to contest with because it plays 2 teammates. It just kind of sets up, almost always. Um, so a lot of people have been talking online about how you don't want to tech a Spinda or something or another. Even Jimmy Penarvis teched a Spinda in his Gardevoir list that ended up winning a League Cup because Gyarados has been getting hype. The third deck that's been getting a lot of hype amongst top players or like mediocre players, I don't know what to call them, is Greninja. Greninja saw a lot of success in the last weekend of League Cups, piloted by very few players, but the few players that piloted had relatively good success. Um, Myself, I won a cup. Grafton Roll got second and a top 8. Michael Kanava's got a top 8. Jimmy Penarvis got a top 4. Anthony Desiato with a top 4. Second place was Mark Garcia. The only person who scrubbed was Michael Slutsky, but he just had some unfortunate draws throughout the day. Um, the list was really good. I posted in a previous video. I didn't know that all of us did that well with the list, but yeah, it was a pretty good list. Greninja is the deck that nobody wants to play going into a big event of this size, but people might have to end up playing because it beats Turbo Dark, it beats Gardevoir, it beats Volcanion. You've got a weird 40-60, 45-55 against Yveltal Garbodor. You've got a 35-65 against Mewtwo. Mewtwo's really bad because they just keep damage changing, and everything you've done is just gets obsolete within 2 turns because you go 60, or you go 60-60, and they go, okay, Lysander damage change, and you go, okay, sick. And you just kind of lose the game slowly because you can't really do anything. You have to go for their Garbodors, and then once you do that, you have to like keep going for their Garbs, and you have to like enhance hammer off the Mewtwo, and you have to make sure they can't ever one shot you, which is really really hard to do. But yeah, that's pretty much the big decks. Rainbow Road's fallen off the face of the earth. Deck's pretty bad. That Pancakes deck, I expect to see some because I think Giratina promo is the deck that makes it the best, as someone's PC guys said in their video. The Giratina promo does make Pancakes deck really really good because it fixes the loss in Greninja for the most part, but the Giratina promo makes Greninja better because Labs. It's weird. This format's very weird. It's gonna get weirder when Sun and Moon drops. This format's gotten so stale that it's just become rock paper scissors at the top. Depending on what players at the top do, other players are seeing success. We had a metagame that slowly became through Europe playing Yveltal and countering Yveltal Mirror, and so a lot of top players who teched for the Mirror did really really well. And then we progressed in Dallas where the metagame became, hey, let me play Mewtwo with janky techs, so we can counter Yveltal, Volcanion, and Greninja. And it saw a lot of success until the point where all the Gardevoir players who have been playing Gardevoir for a while now were just like, oh hey, sick, there's Mewtwo at the top. Let me get some free wins. Um, So we don't know what's going to happen here. Players could go Speed Dark, could go Greninja, could go Gyarados for all I know. I don't know what I'm playing yet. I know a lot of people have been asking me what the play is, or what's the play. I just give you guys a huge list of plays. There's a bunch of lists in my videos. I'm probably just gonna pick one of those lists and roll with it the morning of whatever I feel like a gut check. Um, Sitting right under 200 points makes this a lot harder for me to pick a deck because I have to do well at one of these regionals coming up. So we'll see what happens. I'm leaning towards probably Speed Dark. Deck is pretty good. I don't expect to see too much Volcanion or Greninja. But anything can change in 2 days. Like it's whatever's. I have to like the more information I can gather, the more assertive of a medical I can make, and I can't really make a medical until I'm there at the event, scoping the play area, scoping what people are sleeving up and testing. Anything can change. A new secret deck could pop up out of nowhere. Something with like 4 Giratina promo, and everyone's just like, "Whoa!" So, good luck to everyone going to Athens. If you see any of us come, please feel free to say come. Yeah, please feel free to come say hi. I'm sorry. Uh, School's been killing me. Most of us should be there except for Jeremy. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope to see you guys there this weekend. Should be a blast. I do turn. My birthday is in a couple of days. It's after Athens, unfortunately. But so yeah, I would see all of you guys there, and good luck to everybody.